Welcome to the night section. Most of you guys have probably heard of the word clout. For those of you guys who don't know what that means, according to the Urban Dictionary definition, it means you're famous and have influence. I will tweak that definition a bit and say that it means that you're hot right now, specifically on social media, more so than famous or influential. This quote unquote fame caps itself on social media because you might have 1 million followers on Instagram, but in real life, no one really cares or pays you any mind. And though a lot of people think clout is a new phenomenon, it's actually been around since the beginning of human existence. And we all have fallen victim to it in some capacity or another, whether that be wanting to get attention or even just enjoying that feeling of popularity, even if it was for a short period of time. That's why you notice a lot of people that peaked in high school love to recount their quote-unquote glory days, where they might have gotten attention from the opposite sex or were the popular kid in school. On the spectrum from innocent forms of attention seeking to full-on clout chasing, we've all been there somewhere in between. So it's normal to see that people still do this, and honestly, it will never go away. The problem, however, is that it has completely hijacked hip-hop. Due to the rise of social media in the past decade, a lot of people have been made famous that otherwise wouldn't be 20 years ago. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing because social media has helped a lot of deserving artists get noticed and also created a direct line of contact between artist and consumer where artists and creators no longer need to go through a corporate machine to make it big. They could do it all on their own. In other words, there are no gatekeepers, but that's the very thing that also leaves room to these clout chasers. Most people understand that in order to incite a reaction out of people, you must do some out of the ordinary things. And this is just within our nature. We tend to pay attention to things that are controversial, to things that we aren't accustomed to. This takes us back to the caveman and fire days. We are just in awe of the unfamiliar. So we easily fall prey to these clout chasers because they're usually doing wild things. And we saw this with John Cabana, who previously was known as Boonk and all of his shenanigans. We saw this with 6ix9ine, who's probably the clout chasing king at this point. But the dangers of this is inevitable, as we saw in time with both of these cases. But I don't think we discussed enough how this has diluted a lot of the hip-hop game and the core fabric of what hip-hop was built on. And yeah, we discussed a lot about how the rap game has changed and how the new generation doesn't care about rap, but I don't think that it's entirely true. What I think we actually need to discuss is at the core of it, is how this culture of social media and clout is pushing more people to do outlandish things rather than to just get good at the music. With everything being instant, a lot of us consumers have been unconsciously trained and programmed to just expect things right away. We get these dopamine hits whenever we upload a picture on Instagram because a lot of us have likes pouring in within seconds, and don't get me started on Twitter. Everything is so readily available to us. The idea of just Googling something and getting the answer within seconds makes us forget what it means to have patience and wait on something. This is especially bad for artists. This has made fans fickle and impatient. It seems that the only way to hold people's attention these days is to be clickbaity and have shock value, because the majority of people's attention spans have reduced so much that even if you could just get 0.5 of a second of their attention, that can mean the difference from being just a local rapper to becoming Instagram famous. That's why I feel like a lot of artists feel the pressure to keep up with the times, pretend to be something they're not, and again, do wild things. But how can we blame them when that's all we talk about in hip-hop media? And those are the type of people that we see blow up every single day. And it has become super easy to be seduced by this method of attaining fame or clout, especially when you're a younger artist. The younger artist usually isn't confident in themselves yet to really even know what they want. They're ambushed every day on social media with these clout chasers and see how they're getting this quote-unquote money when they don't have that full, complete understanding that 9.999 times out of 10, it's literally for show and most of these guys are broke. But obviously that's not what the young artist sees. So this has become a treacherous cycle of clout begets clout. And with all of this, it's easy to think that clout has just completely taken over the game. And in some aspects, it has. But we also need to remind ourselves that in the long term, clout never lasts. We can see this with an artist like Lil Pump, who is now practically irrelevant. I can almost guarantee you, if you start rapping naked on stage, you will have some clout. But if you lack in the music department, you will probably fizzle out in a year or two. I think hip-hop's saving grace is the laws of physics and the laws of the universe. What goes up must come down, and the idea that great things take time. And if it comes quickly, you should probably be wary, as it will leave you just as fast. So who wins in the end? Is it clout chasers or hip-hop? I think the answer is quite obvious, but honestly, it's up to the individual to decide what is important to them. As much as I wouldn't want anyone to take the path of least resistance, I know that not everyone is built the same. Some people need fast validation, they need likes or need followers. Not everyone is willing to grind it out and wait even 30 years for the possibility to blow up. So if you're an artist, what's your path? Do you want to clout chase, or are you on the side of hip-hop? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Night section.